All right, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Coming back here now to show you how to fill out the purchase and sale agreement. Now, there are many different variations. You have some that are done by the state. This one right here is an as-is contract by the Florida Realtors. This is by the bar approved. There are a lot of contracts that are floating around out there on the internet, one-page contracts. But when you're talking about selling your property or buying it, you really would like to make sure that everything is covered, especially if you're the one selling your property. So let's just go over this process here on how to fill it out. And it would still pretty much be the same on any contract with a couple of slight variations. So what I do is they're going to put the owner's name here, right? So I'm either going to put, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Yeah, so I'm either going to put Sue Smith here, or if I don't know exactly who the owner is, I would suggest you do this, that you put owner of record at the top. So when you hand it over to your title company or to your attorney, whoever's doing it, they'll know, they'll look it up, and whoever's showing there would be the owner, whoever's on the owner record. Next, I'm just going to show you how I filled out my contracts. Right? So because of that, I'm going to wholesale it. I don't have to put it in my name, and I don't have to put it in the company. It's pretty much whatever I choose. So I could put Cecil Jones here, right? And or assigns. But depending upon the type of contract that you have, especially with the state approved ones, it'll have a section down below that says that the contract is assignable. And if I remember from doing so many deals in Florida, it does say that. So I'm not going to put anything right here right now, unless they've just drastically changed this. All right. Next, you come down to the property description. Property description, you're going to put the address, 123. Uh-oh, I lost something there. Let me go back up here. Okay. Property description. Doing something wrong here. Let's go back up. Oh, yeah. For some reason, it's not letting me put anything in there. Okay, there we go. So 123 Main Street. All right, I'm going to spell everything out. And let's just say you're in Orlando, Florida, 32819. And the property would be located then in Orange County, so whatever your county is. Property tax ID number. You could put the parcel number here if you know it, right? If not, don't worry about it. Legal description. The legal description is the social security number, so to speak, for the property. If you don't know it, and most people won't, I usually put legal, because this is just going to the title company, and they'll find that out. Legal description to follow, right? So I'm set on that point there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down a little bit to the next down here. So if anything is good, agreed upon to be left in the house, maybe the stove, other items included in this purchase, seller, I'll just put seller to leave stove, curtains, washer, right? Personal property included. The following items are excluded from the purchase. So maybe the guy's saying, I'm taking my piano, right? I'm taking my dryer. I left you the washer, but I'm not. That's not going to be included, the dryer. Now we come down to the money section, to the purchase. So as you see, we're going to go right over here. Let's just say you're getting it under contract for $60,000. Right? So you put your $60,000 there. And let's just say you did put a deposit down. So it says initial deposit to be held in escrow. Let's just say you put down $1,000. This is what the players will do, not the guru stuff they teach you. Some people will require that, and we'll talk about that later in the training. So what I was going to say is that this check is, you either have a choice if it's going to accompany the offer or it's to be made within, if you're going to fill this in 3 days or 5 days, 3 days of your offer. Once again, my number stuff is not working. So just imagine that says 3 right there. I don't know what happened. Let's go back up. And I want to put 3 in there. I don't know why it's doing that. For some reason, it's not letting me put anything there. So, for all intents and purposes, that would be a 3 for 3 days there. Okay. Now we're going to come down here to the escrow agent information. That's who's going to close the property, the deal, right? So maybe you're going to put Awesome Title Company, right? Their address, 123 Main Street, Orlando, Florida, 32819. You put their phone number there. If you have that person's email there, you put their email there. And if there's an additional budget that's going to be delivered, you put that there. If not, let's put a 0 in there. Now let's come down to financing, if there's any financing. But when you're wholesaling, none of that is going to be filled out. And what you're going to do is you just want to put the balance to close right there on E, right? Balance to close right there. You want to just come over and put that. So if the house was, once again, we said that the purchase price is $60,000 there. We put down $1,000. So that means that the balance to close would be $59,000. Okay? That would go there. Now that's not including different closing costs. That's just straight up the dollar amount. So you're going to always, you want to give these people, you don't want people to just shop your offer around. Basically, I like to, so it says if not signed by buyer and executed, copy delivered to all parties on or before, I would put it 3 days from today, 3 days from offer. All right. Then you have a closing date. When do we want to close this? Now, if you have your buyers lined up, this can be closed in 2 weeks. So maybe you're going to say 10/31/19. Right? 10/31/19. You want to make sure that everybody initials their sections down there also. So this is like the state one. It's a longer version. It's 11 pages. This is basically talking about the homeowner's insurance, all that stuff. I mean, you can put 14 days in there. Occupancy and possession. You just read that. Check if property is subject to lease or occupancy after closing. That just really depends on the agreement that you have with the seller. Now, here's the power This is what I was talking about. This is people try to say wholesaling is illegal. People who say that don't really know the law. So this contract was done by the real estate board, their attorneys. And inside of it, they have assignability. Check 1. Buyer may assign and therefore be released from any further liability under this contract. Then the next one says that they may assign but not be released from liability, or they may not assign. Well, I like this one here. If a seller's not that comfortable with that one, then I would pick that one. All right. Next important session is financing. Now remember, you're not going to be making any payments or anything. So, but you're setting it up as if, you would. So the buyer will pay cash or obtain a loan. So that would be the one you pick. All right. That would be the one to pick. The contract is contingent upon the buyer obtaining written approval. We're not going to pick that one. We're not going to. Ours is this, the top one, the financing one. Okay. You're going to scroll down. See all of these great things that you can read. Make sure you know that stuff there. Everybody initial everything. No one's assuming a mortgage. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to cover the stuff that 5 days could go in. But that's not you doing that stuff, so I wouldn't really worry about that. Then you want to know, this is important, who's going to designate the closing. If it's my deal, I want to do it. I'm going to talk in a manner where that I, the buyer, shall designate the closing agent, the person who controls the closing agent, whether it's an attorney or a title company. They're the one who's in control. A lot of that stuff I'll put NA in. If I'm not going over it, it's not something that I normally do. If you want to press a buyer, you could put at closing, seller would pay. Home warranty, that's more on the retail side. If it's just a buyer that's a regular fix and flip guy, he's coming in to fix it, that's not important. If there's any special assessments, you want the seller to pay those. He was the one in the property. This goes over disclosures, radon, permits, all that good stuff. So there's nothing to fill out there, but make sure you know it. You got to initial. Everybody's always going to initial. Now we have the property. This is important here. We have the property inspection and the right to cancel. Here I normally will put that the buyer will have, I give him 10 days on here. So I can't write the 10 in right now. I don't know what's going on again, but I would give him 10 days right here. All right, so I'll put 10 in there. Now maybe I can. Nope. Okay, so you'd write that in 10 days. This is talking about a walkthrough inspection. I don't need any of that. Escrow agent and broker, talking about them, how they're going to get paid, I guess. And then you just scroll through this stuff. You should know it. Everybody initial this stuff. Talks about prorations, credits, and all that good stuff. Now down here, if there's any type of additional terms, if it's a condo or you put condo writer, if it's selling financing, put seller financing, whatever applies to you. And then down here, this one has a buyer or seller is going to pay a $195 closing cost fee. Yeah. What are some things you could put in additional terms? You could put in here, subject to partner's approval. You could put subject to approval of inspection. Or anything else that you think of. That's just like what they call weasel clauses. If you need that, go ahead and put it in. Counter offer objection. And then we're not looking for counters. That's why we're speaking directly to. Now this is set up more for the real estate agent, but I'm just showing you how to use their forms also. All right, so we're not worried about counters. We're going directly to the owners. And then the buyer is going to sell, which would be you. And the seller is going to sell. You're going to put your information in, their address in, and all that good stuff there. Typically, there's no broker, so I'll just X that out. And they just have some other paperwork for you to look at. Energy gauge. Okay, so that's part of whoever put this together. So typically you won't see that. And that's it. You're all done, guys. So if you have any questions, definitely put the questions in the box. And other than that, we'll see you on the Q&A section because we're going to have we have weekly Q&A calls. All right, that's our time, guys. On to the next one. Let's go make some money.